So welcome everybody. Those of you who have already joined, today's call is all about the automation that we discussed that we would be doing. And the previous call was about the communities and your memberships. And let's see what is happening. Okay, we have another person waiting. So we will be waiting for like a few minutes so everybody could join and then we will be starting. Okay, I see some of you are sending messages on the chat as well. Great, great. I think should we start? Hey, come on, come on. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen to you guys and let's see. So this is it. Okay, now everybody thumbs up if you can see my screen. There we go. So we are in this account. Now let's go to today's topic is automation. So uh, whatever is happening in this account, so you can almost automate everything in here. And let's go to the automation. In the automation, what happens is you build some workflows, and in that workflow, you tell it how it should start, and then what it should do. So there are some that we have, but I'm gonna create the workflow from the scratch. We have some recipes as well. So let's see first the recipe. So recipe is, we can start from the scratch. It would be completely empty, blank, and we can start from there. We can import a campaign from an existing campaign, WhatsApp delivery status. There are some recipe of different workflows, like, oh, for example, which one should let me see. Do we have something? This is the most popular one that people like to use, appointment booking. Let me just select this one and show you how a recipe looks like, though we won't be doing it because we would be using the one from the scratch. Okay. Okay, so good. And oh, we have another person joining in. Okay, good, good, good. Okay, so
Okay.
this is how the recipe is. So there is one trigger, then there is an SMS, then there is a wait function, then if it there is if else condition, it is asking a question, and if the reply is positive, it's going there. If the reply is not positive, it's going there, so on and so forth. This is one of the recipe that you can then customize according to your needs. So I'll explain you everything in here. Maybe it's way too much. What is the trigger? What are these actions? So let's just go back and create a workflow from the scratch. Okay.
Just a quick question. Where did you get the recipe from?
Okay, let me see. So when you click on create workflow, it gives you two options. One
Um,
is to select a recipe. The other option is to start from the scratch.
right. Okay. Got
Okay, great. And okay, I think we just created probably or probably not. Let me see if we did. Oh, there we go. July 31st. That is today. Okay. So when you create a workflow from the start, so what happens is it gives a systematic name to it, a new workflow, some number, random number in here, and you can change it by clicking it in here. And okay, good. Give me 1 second. Was it a recording of yesterday meeting? You can email support. Okay, somebody else is answering the question, so we can name. So it is. Oh, I'm calling this demo workflow for our uh, Fiesta, and I'm gonna give it a number 000 dash this. And so you can name the workflow in here. Then this is the workflow. It gives you uh, the automation process. So let me first, before we dig into it, let me explain you what is in it. So there is the setting, enrollment history, execution log, a test workflow button, a draft and publish button. So this is the button which tells if the workflow is active or not. So if it is on the publish side, this trigger button, then it is now active, and whatever automation we built in here would work right away. So right now we put it on the draft side, okay? And that means whatever we are building, it's just there, it's not working. So the workflow has two parts mainly. One is the trigger. The trigger is an action, what happens in the system, and it will start this workflow. And the second portion of any workflow is the action area. So all the plus icon in here would open up the actions. And if we click on add a trigger, it will put in the trigger. So there are different type of trigger to start any workflow. So let's say uh, sh I should go one by one with each trigger. So let's select the birthday reminder. When I select that, that would be the trigger name, and then I click on add filters, so I can tell it that before the birthday, how many days, or after the birthday, after how many days it should start. So if the day is 1, 2, 3, any day of the month, or maybe the month is this one. So these are, if I tell it before days, so what I'm trying to set up in here is I want to send a birthday wish to all my clients automatically. And I want to send it like 2 days before their birthday. And this workflow will start 2 days before their birthday. And I want to send them an SMS. Okay, let's select that. So let's say, hey, and I'm gonna use a custom value. Don't worry about it if you don't understand this part, because I'm gonna explain that. Hey, your birthday is coming up in 2 days. Uh, Here is the link to avail birthday discount, something, something. Okay, I need to correct the spelling in here. So I would put up a link in here. So this is a message that I want to send to any one of my customers whose birthday is coming up 2 days before their birthday. The system will automatically send them an SMS, which would say, hey, his name, and then your birthday is coming up, and this is the link that I would put up for the discount for them. I might have created a 10% discount on all my products that they can go there and avail that. To so this is the trigger, and then this is the action. So what I want is, uh, let's, rather than focusing on the action, first let's see how many types of triggers are there, because every trigger has so many filters in it, and you can customize it according to the filter. Right now, we only use before 2 days. We can use it after some days, and we can use different type of other filters as well. Okay, so let's see which other filters are. So if the month is before or after, the birthday has different, so you can customize the trigger, and that is the portion that is making the workflow start. Okay. So the next trigger that we should talk about is contact change. So you have your customers or prospects contact in your system, and this is where if there is any change or updation in the contact, you can start a workflow, like probably some information got updated. So you can tell it that, let's say maybe it was assigned to one of your um, teammates in the company, and if it is changed from assigned user to a different assigned user, then it would start. So it can be assigned user, maybe DND was enabled, or DND was changed, or it has a tag, like a tag was added or removed from that particular contact, and you see all the tags in here. Maybe a tag was removed. If the tag from any contact is removed, it will start this workflow and it will start to work. So uh, I'm going to show you how the automation works. Right now, let's just focus on the triggers before we do anything else. Okay. So you can use the custom question that you have created in custom fields as well. Like, for example, age. If the age is changed, if the age question, the answer of that question is changed, then it will start this workflow. Same way, let's see what the next, if a new contact is created in your system, it will start the workflow if we use this workflow contact created. Okay. And we can use tags as a filter in here. If the new contact is created and has like, for example, opt-in webinar funnel, opt-in leads, if a new contact is created that has this tag, then start the workflow. So before we proceed, let me duplicate this tab and create a form and show you how it works. So let me delete this trigger. And okay, I'm gonna call this save, and we'll go in here. I'm gonna create a form. Okay, let's create a form. And so what I'm trying to do here is we have created a form, and if somebody fills in that form, it should start some sort of automation. So let's create the form, let's fill in the form, and let's see how the automation starts to work. Okay. Okay, come on, load, load, load.
So real quick, where did you go to create your form?
That is under the sites and then forms.
Okay, got it.
Okay. So, okay, this one, okay, I'm gonna call it 000. So demo form. And okay, I just want their first name. I don't want their phone number. I want their email address. I don't want any consent. And I don't want this link. And I'll call this link as submit. And this is my form. Okay. That is the simplest form. Just type in your first name and email address, and that's it. So let's preview this. This is how it would look, the form would look on your website. So now we have a form. So our trigger would be form submitted. Now we need to tell it which form it is that is being submitted, because there are so many different forms. So here you see the form that we just created. I would select that. If somebody submits that form, what I want the system to do is put a tag on the contact, and the tag I want to add is 000 _ demo. That's the tag I want to put in there. If somebody submits the form, the system should automatically put up the tag as 00 demo. And the next thing, okay, let's just make it the simplest workflow. So let's save it, and now let's publish it. Now the workflow is active now. So let's fill out this form. So David and okay, let's say David at david.com and submit. Thank you for the time to complete. Now, what happened in here is the system actually created a contact in here, David, and it automatically put up this tag that we wanted him to put. So if we go to the workflows and enrollment history, it would show up, okay, this guy filled up a form at this time. And if you look at its history, it would tell it, so sorry about that. It would tell us that this person was added to the workflow because he submitted a form, gives you all the information. And then what it did, excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, so it would add the contact, and it is telling us that event was successfully done. And then what happened is the third step was it removed the contact from the workflow. The contact was stopped. There is no other action. So every time somebody submits a form, this form that we created in here, let's see, it will automatically put up the tag in there. Okay, we can do so. We can put up more action above it. We can put the actions below it. Remember, these lines that is showing in here, so it is telling you the movement of the contact is linear downwards. The triggers are side by side, so there can be multiple triggers, but the actions are actually linear downward movement. So let's say I want to assign the person, the contact is going to be assigned to the help desk. We can do that and save the action. And we can also, let's say I want to send the customer who filled the form an email. I can do that. Okay, something, something, and something in here and save. Now, what will happen when somebody fills up the form, it will put up the tag, it will assign to a user, it will send the customer that email that we created in here. So you can create multiple actions in here, and that would automate your systems in here. Okay.
I have a question about that specifically.
Yes, please go ahead.
Just with regard to let's say you wanted to drip, you had an email chain and you wanted to drip on someone, let's say once a week or maybe once a month. In the actions in the email, do you have to create, let's say I wanted this process to continue for 6 months or more? Am I going to have when I'm doing the workflows, am I adding 6 months worth of action items, or is it a way that I can make sure that it just continues to drip like every 30 days or every 40 days?
That's a brilliant question. So there are two ways to resolve this. If you're sending the same email, you can put up, let's say you're sending like 6 emails every month. Like for the next 6 months, you are sending 1 email per month, and it is the same email. So what you would do is put up a wait action, and you would tell it that it is 6 months. We need to put in the days, and 30 multiplied by 6 is 180 days. Okay. I'm gonna type in 180 days and save, and then I'm gonna put in the go-to function if I'm sending out the same email and I'm sending it in here. Click on the destination. So it needs to go to this one. Okay, now what will happen? Sorry, I need to change this to 30 days. Silly me. 30 days. Now what will happen? It will send out the first email and then it will wait for 30 days. Then it will go back and send in that email again. And it will continue to send out the emails unlimited times. So this is one way. Now, if you are trying to send out 6 different emails, then you have to create 6 action with the 30 days wait step in between those actions. Okay.
Got it. Thank you. So then this would be, so on a parallel axis here, I'd have 6 different emails and I'd have the go-to going back to each one every 30 days.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
But let's say you are you sending 6 different emails or 6 emails?
It would be, well, it's a good question. I would want the emails to be after the first couple, I'd want them to be different, a little different, just like with one or 2 words different so that the person who's getting them would not think that's a robot. It would be like, hey, I would like to make them a little more personable. Just, hey, it would be like, hey, just checking in. I sent you an email last month. Just wanted to make sure that you're aware that I'm doing whatever X, Y, and Z. So that type of thing. So I would want to change them up a little bit. They wouldn't be
Yes.
drastically different.
So in that scenario, what you need to do is copy all action from here. It will copy these 2 action, put them in here. Now, one email, 30 days wait, second email, third email, it will go on. So you need to copy and paste the 6 actions. So you need to put up actually 12 action, 6
Okay.
email actions, and 6 wait actions.
Gotcha. I got it.
That would give you the freedom to what you are trying to achieve. If you are only changing a little bit of detail, let's say you are only changing a few things. So you can use custom values, and you can use those custom values, and the emails information will automatically be updated in those emails. But when you are changing, like, okay, I'm trying to reach again or this, then you need to create 6 actions separately. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, and now I'm gonna make your life a bit complicated in here in the action. We didn't go to the full triggers, but let's just say with a question that was very interesting question. Let's say that after the second email, what you are trying to do is you are trying to see if he replies you back, then send the next email, rather than just waiting for next 30 days and sending out the email. So what I would do in here is I would change this wait action to contact reply, and I would tell it the second email he needs to reply, and I'm waiting for his reply for next 15 days. So now let me wait for reply, 15 days. I usually put up the description in here, so it makes my life easier. And then I'm telling it, oh, let's not make that much complicated. Okay, if okay. Okay. Email again. Send an email, something, something, and something, something. And I want to send an internal notification as well to, let's select the internal notification, customer replied, something, something. Okay, what is missing? Please check the field for valid input. What have I missed? Internal notification, yes. Oh. I want to go take it to the conversation and I want to send it to the help desk user. That's the one I'm gonna be bothering. Okay, now this is what is happening. So after the second email, I'm requesting the customer to reply me and I'm gonna wait for his reply for 15 days. If he replies back right away or within those 15 days, it's going to send up the email without waiting anything, and it would send out the email to the customer, and it would send an internal notification to me and telling me that the customer has replied, and you can use the custom value to fill in what the reply is. Okay. Now, if he didn't reply, then it will send out this email action after 15 days. So this is one of the way. Now here, you can also put up if else condition and see if the contact reply action, contact replied and true, if contact reply is true. Now, if he's gonna wait for 15 days. If he replies, then this email would be sent. If he didn't reply, another type of email would be sent. Maybe we want to send him, okay, you can, in this email, we are telling him, okay, this is the link to book a meeting with me and hop on the call with me and we can continue. And on the other hand, if he didn't reply, then we would continue to marketing him. So what we're going to do is put up those marketing emails in here. So that makes it, and you can then use the combination of if else with go to condition to make it much more complicated, and it would look like somebody else is taking the decision in here for you, and somebody else is physically present and talking to your clients. So the customer won't know that it is happening from the automation. Okay.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
so that is one way, because that was a very interesting question. So I was like doing this, and okay, and so before we continue, let's study a few more triggers. So let's go to the next one. So we have seen the birthday reminder and using the filter. If you don't use the filters, then what will happen? Let's say the birthday reminder. What will happen at 6 a.m.? It will take out the action, whatever you put up in the action area, it will start to do that. When you use the filter, you are getting the freedom and you're customizing it according to your exact needs. Okay. So every time you're adding a trigger in here, use their filter. They are your best friend. Okay. Now, the next trigger that I want to talk about is contact DND. What happens with the contact DND? DND means do not disturb. So there are some places, like in the US, if somebody says, do not contact me, do not disturb me, that is a law in that country that you cannot make a call, you cannot email them. Essentially, that is that country's law, and you cannot touch them in any way. So, what if we have somebody in our system, in our contacts, and he's part of the automation? Now he says, "Do not disturb." So we need to get him out of all the workflows, all the automation. Now only for that particular person, we need everything to be stopped. So the contact DND comes in that. So we would do is, let's say DND flag is, and then we tell it that enable for all channels. So what happens if somebody did something, so it will enable the if the DND is enabled for all channels, then take all the necessary action in here. The first action, let me just first delete these actions. And let's delete this trigger as well. It's gonna confuse us. Okay, the trigger is contact DND, and what I'm telling the system is remove from all workflows, including the current workflow as well. So what will happen if somebody triggered his contact as DND? This automation will automatically remove that particular contact from all the workflow, and every automation for only that one particular contact would be stopped, and no more automation would work. So now you are fulfilling the law requirement. Okay, so contact DND trigger is this one. So it has different filters in here. The contact is, if it is enabled for one specific channel, like, and then you can tell it which channel it is. Like maybe he only told us not to call him, or maybe he told us not to email him, or Facebook message, or Google My Business message, or SMS, or WhatsApp. So we can use channels one by one, or as I used before, enabled for all channels, or disabled for all channels. The customer might have enabled the DND, but now he wants to talk to us. He wants to become our customer, or he was on vacation somewhere and he enabled the DND. Now he wants to come back and receive our emails and calls and SMS. So what he would do is go through the form and put in, okay, disable the DND. It will trigger it. And when the disabled is happening for specific channel or all channel, you can start the automation in that sense too. So far, so good. Everybody is getting those triggered that I'm trying to explain here. Thumbs up. You can use the emojis in the Zoom call to let me know that everything is working. Yay! I can see the C is giving me thumbs up. Great. Anybody else? Okay, so do we have any question till now?
Yeah,
you
I just
can
have
unmute you. Yeah, please go
I have
ahead.
a question around that. So with the DND for email, that would be, is that the same as, again, I understand it from a text perspective if they say stop, but well, I guess let's stay on the text. So I was told, and again, I don't know how truthful this is, but if they're responding stop a lot via your text messages, you got to be careful because it puts a cloud on your phone number through Twilio. So I was thinking of, instead of having them reply stop, just end, like END instead of the STOP. In your experience, will that be helpful in not triggering cloudiness on my phone number with Twilio?
Yes. So what we can create in here is we would do it a bit differently. What we would do is contact change. First thing first, we will create contact change, and we would use it that rather than saying it stop, we can tell it if the contact has the end and it is coming from the channel SMS, for example, then put the DND, start the DND action to only for SMS.
Okay, got it. And with email and unsubscribe, it will work the same way. I'd have it trigger in DND. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so there is this interesting thing. So two things are built into the system. One is the unsubscribe button with the emails, and one is the stop button with the Twilio or lead connector phone service, whichever you are using. So those can be triggered, and to undo that, the customer has to go back and send in the start word from their own channel back to us. Now, when you create the automation and disable those default channels, which I highly don't recommend it, don't do that. It creates a lot of trouble. But let's say you have disabled that, then you can create the automation in here to disable or enable accordingly that. So the DND is the interesting thing about the DND is not only it is a trigger, but it is also an action. So if something happens which should trigger some sort of automation, this is what is happening. But if, let's say, a contact was a tag was added, and the tag was like the DND SMS, for example, that's what your other workflow is doing, and that contact tag is added, then so this is one of our trigger, and then what I want to do is DND only for one specific channel, for example. So don't confuse this. Here you see the trigger. DND is also a trigger and also an action. So don't confuse there.
Okay, but you're saying I should leave at all costs, leave the defaults that are in place within the system
That's what
alone.
I'm highly recommending.
Okay, thank you.
What happens is basically if you like change those default, it doesn't restrict you. But if people are continuously complaining about you, then what happens is the Twilio or the email service can actually put you on restricted and ban your account. So you might have to go through a very lengthy process to getting unbanned, and it's a big hassle. And that is why I'm recommending you not to use that. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
great. Anybody else has any question? Okay, it seems you have one person that is having the question, so I really appreciate that. Okay. Okay, let's go to the next trigger. Before I do that, let me just delete this trigger so it doesn't confuse you. The interesting part is you can add multiple triggers. You can add multiple actions in the workflow. So the next is contact tag were added or removed. If a tag is added to a contact, then you can start the automation. If the tag is added or a tag is removed, like for example, there was this tag and now abandoned cart. So now this tag is removed from the contact. What will happen? It will start out the automation, and now since this tag is removed, so it is probably removed because he actually bought it. So what I would do is send out a thank you email, for example. Thank you for buying this product, this and that, and so on and so forth. So contact tag can be triggered on the basis of adding and removing. If the tag is added to a contact or removed, you can use the filter in here. So do remember, always use the filter, and it will specify exactly which trigger is doing what action. The next is custom date reminders. So okay, so custom date reminder is, for example, your company is like a year old, and you want to start the automation on the basis of certain date. Like, for example, 1st of December is when you want to send out an email blast to everyone that your company is getting this many years old. So you want to give them some sort of discount, or you're adding some sort of new package or something. So custom date reminder comes in there. Again, the filter is going to be, is it coming from custom date field or it is coming from tag? You can use that and select the field. Right now, we haven't created any custom date field, which you can create in custom fields under the settings, custom fields. Okay. And we can tell it, okay, let me just use one more, and you can use these questions as well. Okay, does the question qualify? Yes, no. This question has like yes, no answer. So we can use that custom date reminder, and it will remind them on particular date that you select with the custom date field. Okay. The next trigger is note added. So you might have seen in here in the contacts. There we go. So if you click on this pencil icon, this is where you add notes to a contact. So this is one contact, then I'm adding note, demo call, or demo something, something, and I'm saving it. Now, if I click save, this note would be added to this contact, and it can be added by automation. It was added manually, and I want, if the note is added to any contact, I want to start a workflow. So note added and the filter, and with the filter, you can tell it if the note was added and it has the one particular tag. Now here you see two conditions are doing. So not only the node is being added to the contact, but also that contact needs to have a certain tag or should not have a certain tag. So here with the trigger, you are specifying exact condition when it should start any actions. Okay, so let's say we select any tag, for example, this one. So what will happen if a contact node was added and has this tag, then it will start the automation, and you can then specify the action in here, just like I showed before. Okay, let's delete this one and let's go to the next trigger. We have a lots of trigger. So our call would not be fully covering all the automation. The automation is the most powerful feature of this software. So it might take a few calls to actually cover all the automation in the workflow, because we are talking about the triggers, then we're gonna talk about the actions, and we need to also talk about the settings of the workflow, which I didn't even touch, and how we can test it if somebody is already part of the workflow, how we can remove him from the workflow. There are so many things, and uh, what are these buttons, the zoom and the full screen and everything. So it might take, so don't worry about that. We will cover each and everything. So note tag, note was changed. So it is very simple. The note was previously added to a contact. And if it is changed, and if it has the tag, or if it doesn't have one particular tag, then the automation starts. Okay, the next trigger is gonna be task added. So again, the task is okay. The task is, again, you would see it in here. These are the tasks. And when a task is added to any contact, you can title the task, then description, who is it assigned to, when is the due date. When you assign this, it will put up a reminder to that particular person, this one, within your team, and it will tell it when to remind him. If a task get added to a contact, do you want to uh, send out an automation, like if help desk user, a task is added to the help desk user, then I want to send an internal notification to help desk user, and I would say something, something, this is the message, and I want him to go to the contact, and I want, okay, select the user type, and I want it to particular user, and the user is help desk. So what would happen if a task is added to any contact which is assigned to help desk? It will send out an internal notification to help desk user, tell him that this task is added to this particular contact. Okay, so that's a very interesting trigger. Okay, let's delete all the action in here and delete this one too.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding that correctly. So again, I look at that as for someone who has a team who wants to put a note for a contact and they want their team to actually follow up or continue conversation with a contact. Is that accurate? Does that sound like how you would use that particular?
Yeah, exactly. So let's say contact the customer, and I would tell it to contact this guy, comma, containing this email. So now the notification title would be contact the customer, and it would tell him the contact name, who should be contacted, and what is his email. And I would say uh, call him and see what is happening. Something. Forget about the spelling. I'm very bad with that. And I'm telling it to redirect it to conversation. And if they click on the notification, it will automatically take them to conversation page on to this contact and where who should get this notification. You can send it to all the users, to a particular user, or whoever is assigned to that particular contact. So far, so good?
Yeah, I got it. Thanks. I got it. Yep, I got it.
Right. Okay, the next trigger is gonna be, so node added and node change. This is when a new node is being added, and this is when a node, existing node is edited. Some detail is changed in it. This is that trigger, almost the same thing. Task added and task reminder are when the task is added or removed, and it is assigned to a particular user, then it would start the automation. Now I'm gonna skip in the way too much detail into the triggers. That way we can save a bit of time and move a bit quicker. Okay. So a task reminder is sent, or task is completed, or contact engagement score. So if the score to particular question contact is equal to, let's say, 100. I'll explain you what these scores are and what it means. If any contact achieves that score, then do some actions. Within the actions, you have a math operation. Let me, rather than doing this, math operation, and you can assign values in the custom field. So if he scores certain points, let's say he booked a call, he gets 10 points, he bought from you, he gets 50 points, he paid you on time, he gets 20 more points, they are getting added. And if he achieves that 100 score, then do certain type of automation. That is what the contact engagement score is all about. Okay. Okay. Let's delete this trigger and let's go to the next trigger. So these are the triggers that we just talked about, is all about the contact. A prospect or a contact in your contact list. Something is happening with them. Whatever is happening, then it would start the automation. Now, the second category in the trigger is event. If something is happening in the system, then what should happen? Like if the call status is, for example, okay, come on. If the call's direction is, let's say, incoming, if somebody is calling you, then an automation starts. Or if it is outgoing, if you're making the call, then the automation starts. You want an SMS also sent to the customer whom you are making the call, that this is our link to the meeting or something. So you can create that. So call status is that, and if the status of the call is busy or canceled or completed or no answer or voicemail, you can always, as I told you, with the filters, you can customize it to be exactly as you need it. So the other filter in here is within the workflow. If something is happening in this workflow, call status is changed from this to this, then do this action. Okay. But for the triggers, I think we should only focus on today's call to the contact triggers only. The next call would be within the workflow. We would be talking about the events trigger and probably the appointment trigger as well. Okay. So do we have any questions?
I do have a question, but it's
Please.
relating to automation, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to I have my funnel that I've built, but what
Mm-hmm.
I want to do is I think that there are some automations that are supposed to come with this funnel. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how I would apply them to this. Maybe I can share that. I can share this with you.
Please let me stop sharing my screen and then you can share. Okay, how do I? There we go. Okay,
All right.
share your screen, please.
Sure. 1 second. Uh, Looks like you've got sharing disabled on your side.
Oh, did I? Okay, let me see. Okay, could you please try now?
Yeah, it's working now.
Okay, great.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
this is my funnel here,
Mm-hmm.
and what I'm trying to do is this is a webinar funnel, so maybe I can go back.
It's
So it's a
okay. Just explain me and I'll give you the
so,
answer
so
right
what I
away.
want to do now is to attach a funnel that says, okay, so this person opted in,
Mm-hmm.
and then they watched this webinar register. They signed into this webinar registration, and then I
Mm-hmm.
sent like a email indicating that thank you for first of all getting an ebook. So I've got an ebook first that they get, and then they sign up for the webinar. And when they've
So,
done, I
where do they click to get that ebook?
they click 1 second. So let me remove this so I can see. So here, so they would click here to
Here.
get the ebook. That's not working as good as I thought it was yesterday. But they will click here to get that ebook. I think it's not pulling up for some reason here. I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
what you need to do is first go back to the builder again
Okay.
and this one. This button need to have a form. There should be a form that they need to fill in because the system won't know their email address to send the book to. So
Yeah.
this
So
button is opening up the pop-up, which should have a form which they should fill in. And then in the automations, your trigger would be form submitted, and then an email which will contain your ebook that should be sent to the contact.
all right.
Okay.
So my form would
Mm.
be here. I think there's something I must have just did to
Okay.
mess up.
Let me give me 1 second. I'm gonna request. Can I? I don't see. I can. Okay. Open up the pop-up.
Let me go to here.
No,
Pop,
no.
pop
Go
up
to the
right here.
builder again. Go to the
Okay.
builder again.
All right. 1 second. So here we're at. So if I do
Uh,
pop up here, so let's go there and do pop up.
yeah,
This one.
that should be, yeah, pop up. Okay, that's good. And click a bit below, like right here or somewhere.
Okay.
Click this plus icon, this
Mm,
one, and select a form, this one. Okay, now select the opt-in form. Okay, there we go. Now we have a place to capture the details. Do you remember the form name?
Yeah, this is the form.
What is the name of the form?
CJ1 opt-in, this form right here.
Yeah, remember that name. Okay. Now
Yeah.
let's save this.
Okay, so
Okay, in the go to the automations.
okay. And so let me duplicate this. Then I can go back. The automation.
Okay, let's create a very, very basic automation. Click on create workflow and start from the scratch. So your trigger is form submitted. Yep. Click on the add new trigger.
Okay, so add new trigger.
And form submitted. This one, and click on add filter.
Okay.
And form is, and remember the form name, select that particular form name and click save in the bottom. Okay. Now the action is to send them after they have opted in. You would be sending them that ebook. So click on the plus icon right here and select the email right here. No, the bottom, the second, let me clear my drawing, and this one.
All right. Okay. So send email.
Email. And in the email, you can put up your attachment of your ebook. So this is where you add the attachment. This is where you put up the subject, the body of the email, yada, yada, and you can customize. So whenever somebody submits that form, the automation will send them the email containing your ebook. So after setting this email action, you need to save it. And then the last thing you need to do is publish the workflow, and the automation will start to work for you.
All
How
right.
about that?
So that works. But what I want to do with this page is I want them to go to the next page when they opt in, and then they can download it from the next page so that they can watch the video that then brings them into my my little course.
So they are
So
getting the
so instead of just opting in here and ending here, I want them to go to the next part of my funnel, which is the next page.
Go back to the funnels area.
Okay,
The
so
builder.
let me go back here,
back to the funnel builder where we were.
Okay, let me use this.
This tab, I think, is the one that we want to go to.
Okay. All right. So here we are. Oh, this tab right here. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there we are. Okay. Open the pop-up setting.
So here it is.
This one.
Hey, Steve, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, give me 1 moment, and then this is where you need to click.
Where are you? Oh, okay, here. Okay, yeah.
And you can tell it to go to the next step.
Right.
Now save it. Now what will happen when he submits the form? He will be moved to the next step of your funnel, and the automation will also trigger and send him the email with containing your book. Okay. So now the automation is working side by side, and so on and so forth. Okay.
Okay.
Great. Okay. Somebody else was asking a question. Please go ahead and unmute yourself and ask the question.
It's Chodine. I was actually going to ask Steve, what is more important for them to get the ebook or to watch the video?
So it's important
that both the things need to be done,
Yeah, so I want them
to, please go ahead.
So I want them to come here and get the ebook right here. So they can download it on the first page, but they can download it here, or they can get the email from here. But then they must watch this video, and this video will invite them to this course.
But here's the thing. The reason I'm asking this, because a confused mind won't take action. So
Right.
you're asking them to do two things. So that's why I'm asking what's more important. Because if you want them to watch the video, what you could do is, after they've watched the whole video, then send them the ebook. But I think I'm just watching this and I'm like, I wouldn't do anything because I can't figure out if you're wanting me to have the ebook or if you're wanting me to watch the video.
So
That's just
That's a good suggestion.
That's a good thought. The ad that I'm putting out is saying get your ebook and check out the training, the free training. So the expectation they would come to get.
Then I would, if that's your ad, then I would just focus on the ebook, and then after they open up that email, then have them click onto your video.
Right.
I mean, you're gonna have to test it, but I'm just confused.
It's a good suggestion.
That makes.
I don't know which direction you want me to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. That's a good feedback right there.
See, you got the free suggestion. We won't charge you for that.
There you go. Awesome.
Okay.
That's $49.95, please.
Not a
Exactly.
That's awesome. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that feedback.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So that's about it for today's call. And
hang on, I've got one more question.
Please go ahead.
Is there any workflow Bible that explains all these actions? So if we know we want to do something, but we're not just because I want to do something doesn't know that I know how to do it. So is that something that exists in the world, or am I just?
Yeah. So there are two parts. You can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you can always click here and go to the articles and read about it. Like, for example, appointment.
So I'm looking for something specific, then I need to ask what that is. So if I can't just go workflows and then tell me all.
So these are the articles. And let's say you don't find the information that you're looking for, or your question is not understood by this here, and there is no article, then you can always click on this message button. It connects back to one of my colleagues, and you can directly talk to us 24/7, and we would be helping you out in your automations, in your designs, in essentially anything within this.
Oh, your colleagues know me quite well. In fact, they miss me some days.
You're most welcome, ma'am. Anytime. Okay.
Exactly. All right. Thank you.
So you can directly ask them, okay, I have this automation question. I have this scenario in my mind. Can you help me with the trigger, or how should I proceed? They will give you the strategies. They will tell you how you can put up the trigger, how you can put up the conditions, and they will help you out. Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to put together a mastermind, and each one of you guys are going to come in and we're going to figure out all these workflows, and we're going to sell it for $9.97 and walk across.
So you are increasing the price of your products. That's nice. I like that. Great. Okay, guys. So that's about it for today's call. And hopefully I would be seeing you the next week, and we will continue to the next group of the triggers, probably two groups, because the third group has essentially only two triggers. So we would be talking about the next categories, and we might even only slightly touch the setting of the workflows. So I'll see you around again. Okay. Till then, take care.
Sorry, one question.
Please go ahead.
What's the homework for today?
The homework is
be quiet.
Okay. I usually don't give the homework because I'm like, you need to revise this, like go to each trigger that we discussed today and see how they can work in different scenarios. So what you need to be familiar is when you are trying to build any system, you need to be familiar with what are the capabilities of the automation. So you need to be familiar with the trigger, also the filter of that any trigger. So like when it says contact change, what does that mean? Okay, does it have any other trigger? Okay, but I want to see if the date of birth was changed or date of birth was updated. Can it be doable or is it not? So we need to find out that we need to be familiar with. So the homework is go through each of the trigger and see which filter each trigger has. Okay, there you go.
All
Okay, guys.
597 of those triggers?
No, only the category that we discussed, because there would be some triggers that right now I don't want you to experiment with, especially with those that has the crown on it, because those are the paid trigger. We would be talking about the paid triggers in the coming training video as well. Okay.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.